Perfect parenting. The nature of time. No matter how far you can see, the absolute end point is usually somewhere beyond your vision. As a result, the consequences of your actions are always very difficult to understand. Throw too much energy into your morning, and you may find yourself experiencing burnout for the rest of the day. Yet, failing to throw yourself fully into your day may mean you miss relevant opportunities. The success of your mission depends on your vision. In the long term, the presently invisible is far more important than the presently visible. We want our children to grow and to outgrow what we presently know. In the most engaging forms of education, the student will eventually outperform the teacher, just as everything old is eventually replaced with something new. These changes over time are always a result of reason, logic, understanding, and dedicated effort. Traits any parent can pass on to their child. Parents can admire or admonish. It's an individual choice how we react. Whether we stand at the sidelines and shout across the park, or just whisper into our neighbour's ear, our aim as parents must be to set a consistent and clear example of the behaviours we expect. Inconsistency leads to confusions of identity, and unhappy kids don't become happy adults. Adults get punished for their mistakes, but should children also be punished? If you break the rules of a game, then you pay the penalty. That is understood by everybody. But what happens when a child is unable to follow instructions? Is the child at fault? Or is the adult? Children need to know that it's not good to break the moral codes of life. But how do we convey this to a mischievous young mind? How do we encourage reflection without resentment? As a rule, all forms of physical punishment against children are wrong. They are too young to be corrected by corporal means. What does smacking or shouting at a child convey anyway? That pain removes or solves problems? Most studies show that there are strong correlations between physical punishment and an inability to reason to sensible conclusions. In general, only those already hurting cause suffering to others. The child who bullies at school is usually the one who has been bullied at home. We need to realize early on in a child's development that communication is far more important than seeking to punish. It's hard because it requires more thought and perhaps even a strategy, and working parents spend a lot of time tired and maybe even exhausted, and sometimes at their wits' end. But in every case, a society is judged by the way that it treats its children, and these children may one day themselves have children, and so everything begins now. Physical punishment leads directly to less reason and less evaluation. It avoids the necessary skills of negotiation and a process of reasoning to a definitive conclusion. It ought to be obvious that only through peaceful communication can we guide children to control their own emotions. It ought to be clear that all of what we do on a daily basis has some effect on our children. So take some time out to think about how you would like your children to act and how you can model this to them. It might be that you need to prepare yourself and them for potential conflicts before they happen. As you begin to think about what is to come, then you start to author a future for yourself and your children. Think of it like this. Healthy food is not just for when people are sick, but it helps negate potential problems before they even begin. We all want to see our actions produce immediate effects. That is the result of a point-and-click culture. But a more profound approach is to understand that although the work is ours as parents to put in, the results may appear only at a later date on another timeline. We may not even be here to witness the fruits on the trees that arise from the seeds that we have planted. Fear not to act faithfully, and know how you act and how you think both matter and function in concert. Tomorrow begins today, and so you should always start right here and right now. Look for positive examples in the world around you so that you can highlight them for your children. Remember that different children will require a different approach. And it pays to be patient in a world where haste only makes waste. Thank you for listening.